Hello and good evening for this Sunday, September 3rd, 2023. We are coming to you here live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch for the Super Mario Brothers podcast about Big Brother 25, week 5 of the HOH house, our do-over, Jeff, as I am Dave Mayer here, joined with my brother Jeff Mayer on Super Mario Brothers podcasting to talk about this episode 14 of Big Brother 25. Jeff, we have a new HOH.
I just don't love it.
You just don't love it?
I wish I had a hoodie on with no shirt underneath, and I zipped it down just almost to my belly button.
Indeed.
Then you would really know how I feel about this.
Yeah. Well, Cameron and Red on the block by here with Jared as the new HOH.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack here.
He won something.
He won something, solidifying himself potentially as one of the greats of all time of Big Brother.
He's out of his mommy's shadow, except he's doing exactly what his mommy wants.
Pretty much. But this is his time to shine. He is his own man. Potentially. Time will tell. He's got his Lady Blue, his +1.
Does he? I mean, Blue's +1 is Jag.
But Jared's like second place, at least.
Maybe. But they're excited because they're going to have a lot of sex in the HOH room. So that's exciting.
So is that is that good enough for Jared?
I think so.
Maybe. Okay, we have a lot to unpack here in this episode. Or do we? I'm still trying to figure out. Okay, like there was some moments of this episode I liked. I gotta tell you, but there was a lot that I thought was sort of, I don't know, just dragging a bit.
I thought the whole episode was kind of boring. Honestly, there was only a few good scenes that were kind of good for the game explanation. Like I thought the scene with America and Corey on the hammock was good. Right. But honestly, and I like the scene where Jag figures out that Jared tried to, the only way he would have known that is if Sari told him, and then so he's like, I can't really trust them. Right. Those are the only two scenes to me that stood out as being kind of credible to the story of the game, because most of the time all I feel I'm watching is hugs, competitions. And then DRs that kind of are about Felicia dropping her mic in the toilet. It's a lot of nonsense going on right now.
Well, I think that the whole Felicia in the toilet with her microphone pack, which Jaemeel has mentioned a few times in past episodes, the spoiler section when we get into the spoilers. So this is not something that just was a recent affair. This was something that they chose to fill into the show just because I don't think they had a lot to tell us tonight.
Or they didn't want to tell us, that or they're saving it for later, or so. I don't know. The house is in a weird place because I feel for the most part, it's Cameron and Red are kind of clueless to how the game is working, in my opinion. Even though they kind of knew they were going up, I don't think they really understand at all how the power of the house is working. They still believe in their stupid alliance, level 25.
What's it called? Level 25. As long as Izzy, who's a member of the 25 alliance or whatever the hell it's called, does this, then then we'll be fine. Are you out of your damn minds, Red and Cameron? Especially Cameron. I think Cameron's delusional sometimes.
Yeah. Well, they both are.
You really think you're still safe? Okay. And there was a lot. Okay, so I think Red and Cameron kind of saw the writing on the wall a little bit. The fact that that this HOH was taken away from Cameron. He doesn't get anybody out. Jag's still in the house, and ultimately Jag doesn't win power here, but it doesn't really matter because it's ultimately Jared who comes after him and puts him up.
It didn't matter. Everyone was going to put them up except maybe America. And they were like, "Oh yeah, try and get America out," because they don't like America or something because she's a pretty girl and they don't want to be.
You should put America up, even though America, if that's true, if America is the one other alternative, then they should try to work together. In all reality, but
no, yeah, exactly, and and like America's trying to work that out with Corey, and Corey's like, no, let's just lay low because they, which is probably the right move because Cameron and Red seem to be kind of, they think they're smarter than they are,
Well, that's kind of an epidemic in the house in some ways.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The story with Jared here tonight, Jared and Sari. Do you want to unpack that relationship at all? Like, what you're sort of.
I don't get it, honestly. Like, it seems like Sari's the puppet master of the house, and Jared likes to pretend that he's playing a game that matters. Like I
He's
just like
player in the game.
It just feels a lot like Evil Dick and Danielle in that way.
But who's the evil dick?
Oh, Sari.
Sari's the evil dick, and Jared is the Danielle.
Yes. And if they got to the end together, there's no chance Jared wins. That's how I feel about it,
Even with this HOH, like, what can you do anything with this HOH to sort of like make the other house guests feel like he's sort of a player that it should be?
I don't think there's anything he can do short of turning on Sari, really, that everyone's not going to think that anything he does is Sari's choice. Like, I don't feel like he was really playing the game. I don't think the show shows that. I feel like now that he's won some power, it's like, oh, now I'm big man in charge. And it's just like, okay, then what, like, I love like his whole excuse in the diary room was like, oh yeah, Cameron's turning on Red and all this. I don't believe any of that stuff. He was told to put up Red and Cameron.
Okay, yeah, well, that was kind of silly tonight where Jared's talking to Red and he was like, what if I told you Cameron said he might be okay sitting next to you, even though you just said you'd be okay sitting next to Cameron? How do you feel about that information? I'm like, what are you talking about, Jared? Like, what's going? It was a bit bizarre. Oh, we got a message from Jaemeel. Try to jump on for the spoiler talk. Okay, he's trying to make it here for spoilers. So let's get through the episode, Jeff. Proper. 2 hours before eviction. The eyes in the jar. Oh yeah, this was everything here where Jag kind of, as you alluded to earlier, Jeff, figures out the information with Sari, and that Jared, she told Sari, he tells Sari this information. It gets to Jared, and he's like, it could only have happened if Sari had told Jared this information, which she had.
And then she didn't like that, rightfully so, that Jared went and,
or Matt was involved too, right, in this conversation.
Yeah, well, Matt was, told Sari, and Sari told Jag that only Matt and her knew. But then Jared comes and goes, don't worry, man, don't worry, but don't tell anybody, right? Like, he kept saying, don't tell anybody, because he didn't want to get him back to Sari. And then immediately he gets back to Sari, and yeah, it's like it almost screwed up his whole relationship with Sari in the house because you're breaking trusts, and that's the type of thing Sari would vote you out in a second.
If Survivor, Jared was not Sari's son, would she vote him out?
I think she would definitely be llooking to. Yes,
because
trust is everything in these games.
He'd be very expendable at best.
Yeah, and it's not that they don't, there's no trust between them. Obviously, there's a lot of trust, but in gameplay, you can't just like go blabber things that people just told you that and literally told you don't say anything because he just employed that same thing with Jag. Like the thing is in these houses, anytime you say anything that's in like secrecy or don't tell anybody, you have to assume that people are going to use that information as leverage in other ways to get what they want. That's the whole point of the game. So when you do that, you're taking that risk, and to do it with Jag made no sense,
No, I agree with that. Yeah, like there was a lot of different decisions. Okay, I think we should also talk here tonight, Jeff, about the HOH competition itself. We had this, I don't know, like kind of a dating show sort of vibe, I guess, is what they were going for. Love letters was sort of the theme of it was kind of go back. The BB Odd Couples game show.
It was a Scrambleverse.
It was a Scrambleverse kind of a theme, because so we were alluding to the great showmances of Big Brother, like Swaggy C and Bailey, Jeff, if you recall.
Yes.
Were they one of the great showmances of all of Big Brother?
I don't know. They had a baby, so
they had a baby, so okay, noteworthy.
Noteworthy.
Okay. Did you like the competition?
Not really.
With like,
I liked the Jesse ones; they were pretty funny. But other than that, no. I thought it was too easy. I thought it was like because they underline what this is what you're looking for.
Yeah,
it's
so
like
all you had to, I was playing along. All you had to do was look at the word, whatever it was, in red and underline. Okay, you used to go scooter. Then they would show you 3 pictures, right? And you go, okay, what picture is the scooter in? Now, this one, to be fair, is a little tougher. Do you see it?
Okay, so what was it? What am I looking for?
Scooter.
Yeah. So I found most of the time, but like the first like 6 ones, it was the column where the people weren't standing.
Often, but who cares? All you had to do was look for the thing that they just told you was red and underlined.
Yeah.
Like going back to you look for scooter and there it is, and now you win. As long as you hit the right button. If you hit the wrong thing, then you're out, right?
Yeah, it should have been a tiny bit more difficult. That's all.
Yeah, these are always fun because you get to pick who kind of goes against who next. We had here Jared and Cameron. So Jared knocks Cameron out, only to later nominate him in the same episode. But I thought some of these like little messages, can you find the muffin tin, Jeff? In these 3 pictures, or I think they were looking for the crutches in this particular one.
The crutches, yeah, the muffin tin, yeah. No, yeah, it was a lot of and a lot of people just screwed up hitting C instead of A, and that happened a lot. Like I don't know, I didn't love the competition. It seemed like a competition that they would use at the end of the show,
Right. But this is a lot of people to have in this competition.
Yeah.
What was the word they're looking for here? We need to find a muffin tin. Where's the muffin tin, Jeff? Can we find it?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was pretty easy. I found them most of the time right away too. It's I don't know. Sure.
Okay, how long did this go on? This was like
too long.
If I keep going here, we're into like 8-9 minutes of this stuff. Like we're easily into 25 minutes, 27 minutes. In the entire hour, like this was like at least a good 12 minutes of it. Is it too long?
Yeah, it was too long.
Is this going with our theme the whole season, that the competitions are taking up way too much of the edit? Could we have a better show? They can still have their competition. We don't have to see as much of it on the show.
But Dave, I think you're right. Like they were threatened by BB Canada and all the production value, and they really amped up the game this year because they have the bigger house now and they have the bigger sound stage, and they can really like spend the money and make it look good. But then like you're cutting down from like the show. Like the show is about people don't really care that much about the competitions
or the theme or whatever the twist is this year.
No,
right? Like ultimately, you throw. There's a whole new crop of strangers. You put them together into this house, and you see what happens. Is kind of what brings, I think, people back every year. Because every year it's fresh because it's the same game, but it's all new people. So you kind of get something different. You don't know exactly how this particular group of people is going to play out. You might have a Sari and a Jared, mother-son. You might have an Izzy, Jeff, who already knows that they're mother and son.
Right.
You might have a Cameron. You might not. So then there was some strategizing in the episode, like commercials. Oh yeah. Well, okay. So there was a whole sequence here in the hammock, Jeff, with America and Corey, who have become thick as thieves. These two, And she's not going along with the whole Sari and Felicia and Izzy running the house things. Especially Sari running the house. She thinks we need to take them out. And Corey's like, you need to be careful what you say out loud about any of those people because it will get back to them.
Yeah, and they're both right. That's what I liked about this conversation is they're both right, and they do need to do something about it. They just need to wait to get power, and then they can. But the thing is, they can't really do that unless there's someone they can influence that's in power. But right now, there's not. So,
well, it is part of the game just like staying out of trouble until the right moment, and then taking your shot at the right time.
Yeah, but you don't want to wait too long because then the numbers are way against you, like America alludes to in this conversation. So, like, the thing is, you do need to start making a move at a certain point, but sometimes it's too late. The numbers are too against you. So, you do need to act. And I do think she's right, but at the same time, they don't have the power, so they can't do anything. They should, I thought last week they probably should have both done something and went to Cameron and Red and said, like, look, Sari and they're running the house. Like, that's who you should target. But they wouldn't have listened because they're all about level 25.
Level 25. Sam Higdon asking, you might have in America. Oh, actually, he was asking, which is better, Big Brother Canada, Jeff, or Big Brother USA? Now that
the answer is Big Brother Australia.
Better than both?
Yes.
And hello, Sally. Is this a case of Big Brother USA copying Big Brother Canada? We kind of said yes. That's kind of our read on it. That they're kind of responding to that production value that they want to keep up here. In the process, they've edited out a lot of their strategic content. The social dynamics of the house are largely lost, I think, in these edits. You get 3 episodes a week, Jeff, but you don't really understand what the hell's going on.
No, like it's not as clear of a narrative either. This story, it's more like trust clusters going on.
Yeah, there's less. Obviously we know here what Jared does, but he ends up putting up Cameron and Red, and so we see a couple of conversations here where that's set up, where Jared prepares only, and then he's like, well, he tried to pit them against each other as much as possible, and what else can they do? He's saying, I'm basically gonna put both of you up, so ultimately, if you're in that situation, I think you have to try to make the best of it and hope you survive the vote, right? Because ultimately one of you will survive. Once one of you is voted out, maybe there's a good chance that you're not as much of a priority anymore now that you don't have your partner who was with you. That's my opinion. All right, so I in this nomination, I kept looking at America here, Jeff, and I kept thinking America was definitely pissed off at Jared, and I thought that America was almost something that could get nominated here because we heard that Red and Cameron kept pushing for America.
Right.
Right.
She's pretty.
She's pretty, and she has no friends.
That's right.
Other than Corey.
And she turned down Cameron's constant advances, and he's not allowed to talk to girls that pretty.
Right. No, that's against the law in most counties where he's from. So it's like, ultimately, we end up here with Red and Cameron on the block, which is, I think what America says, like exactly what Sari wants. Why are we doing this? Why should we have to do this work for them? But ultimately they're not like Jared is with Sari. They just don't realize to the extent that he is. That's not clear to most of these other house guests yet. But they're just kind of, I don't know how do you think that Matt and these other people perceive Jared?
I don't know, because they don't show us really on the show what they think of him.
They're really protecting.
Dave, they're really protecting Jared. I find
throughout the show.
Throughout the whole producers. Yes, they're really protecting him, and they're really trying to make the audience like him. When he, according to the live feeds and a lot of the people that watch it, he's not a very likable kind of caricature, or the way he's presenting himself on the show.
Yeah. He's not winning over their hearts and minds.
I don't think so. I think he's kind of this unlikable type. He's young. He's 25. He's got he's kind of cocky. He's got a certain attitude to him that's kind of, I need to be my own man here, and I need to kind of step out of my mom's shadow. And I think it's kind of not humble, and so it's not. He's not coming across well, like that. That's kind of the way I'm, you know, gathering him a little bit, because I don't think he really cares about the game that he's playing. Like,
it doesn't feel like it, right? And yeah, if he didn't have Blue, and if he didn't have Suri, if Suri's not in this house, I don't think Jared is possibly the most expendable house guest out there.
Yeah, like honestly, if he wasn't there, if Suri wasn't there, Jared would probably be targeted, right? But she's great. She's really good at protecting the people she needs to protect.
Yeah,
she's also protecting Felicia very well, and Izzy.
And Izzy, but and only Izzy knows about this connection between Suri and Jared. Yeah. Felicia doesn't even know, but Felicia's just down with the fact that this is what Suri wants. So
yeah, that's the thing. This is the thing that happens though when you get one player that's so experienced at these games. And I mean, Suri always probably should have been a Big Brother player, not a Survivor player. Like, the game's kind of made for her, especially with these novices. She has such an advantage on these players, even her son, that, or Izzy, that knows who she is and like knows who Jared is. Like, like she just has such a hardcore advantage over them. Like, look at when Paul came back and he just completely, like, he wasn't even that great of a player.
No, but he knew enough. He had been through the game once. So
he'd been through the game once.
Even that process kind of gets you up to a new level, right?
It does. It has to, right? Because you need to, especially when you get far in the games, because you have to adapt to survive. You have to, what works, what doesn't. What you see when people say the wrong thing and why they went home, and people explain that, and then so what not to do more than even what what to do, but then you learn what to do, and I think so you become a double threat, and that's what Suri is. And it's like she should have been their friggin' number one target right from the beginning. It really made no sense. But certain players just have enough charisma that you go, oh, it's Suri, and we're playing a game, and you forget all that stuff, and that group think doesn't always work.
And the fact that like these other players, like Izzy and Felicia, have kind of gravitated themselves towards Suri. Suri is ultimately powerful because of that. Suri, like Jared, ultimately seems to be loyal to Suri, not realizing that it's because he's her son, just because they think that's what he wants to do, because it's Suri. And so it kind of creates this sort of new mythos, even in this game.
It does.
So, okay, how do you feel about this? The fact that this HOH is Jared and this particular set of nominations, and going into the veto, like, I guess, what do you think week 5 should? What's the best case scenario here?
Like, who goes home? You mean?
Well, yeah, I guess, like,
I think if Cameron goes home, that's pretty good, because I'm kind of annoyed with him as far as like the DRs, right? Like this stuff where he's got the sweater and he's like got his arm back and he's like, I'm just relaxing, I'm too cool to, I don't know, his whole body language and everything about him. I'm just like, you are so not likable. Like, even Red's a lot more likable, I find. Yeah. Even though he's very animated and he's very like, he's like a Big Brother pro as far as the DR goes. I feel like Cameron is like, he's more interesting, but you're just like, this guy, he's kind of a creep. I don't know.
I kind of agree. I wouldn't be sad if we lost him pre-jury here. If Cameron ends up going out here, I think we can ultimately say, like, of a pre-jury boot, he's got a pretty good story. And if you can have I think that that's maybe even the best legacy a season can have, is if all your pre-jury boots are sort of memorable characters, then isn't that a good thing? Like, we got Heisem, we got one ends up being Cameron.
Yeah.
Even Riley, who I think was a pretty good player in her own right.
Yeah.
And well, maybe not so much Kirsten, but I think Kirsten would have been fun if she had lasted. But ultimately, I think she's the most forgettable of the ones I've mentioned. And then there's Luke. But we won't dwell. I feel like they added 17 house guests just to see, like, well, one of them was bound to come up with some scandal, so then Cerebral replaces that person, and then we'll have 16. That's kind of what happened. So, okay, Jaemeel is listening in, Jaemeel. So I know if you're there, you can jump in for your spoiler talk, as we've kind of hit the end of this episode. So if the video has been played, come in and tell us. If not, come in and tell us that too. I could look it up myself, but Jeff, do you know in golf today I broke 100?
Yes, I did see that. Which course did you play?
Oakville Executive.
Oh yeah, nice.
I had a lot of par threes.
A lot of par threes, making lots of pars.
I was making a lot of bogeys, but with a consistent amount of bogeys,
right,
I was okay.
Good.
You can just make a bogey every hole. Okay, he's coming in. Jaemeel Robinson coming in with the scoop, with the live feed information from public transit. It's unclear. He will be here momentarily.
Momentarily, he will be arriving
for the Sunday night edition here on Super Mario Bros. Podcasting, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might be listening to us on the audio version. I'm Dave Maynor, and this has been Jeff Maynor talking to you about Big Brother. If you want to ask us a live question, feel free to do so. If you want to know, how you feel the season is going. Do you like this cast? Are you happy Jared's the HOH? Would you rather it was Suri? Or would you rather it was blue? Or even red? Or even back to Cameron? Would that be better? Would that be more just? Was Cameron robbed here, Jeff? If you were a Cameron stan, would you feel pretty sour about how these events have transpired?
Probably, because I don't know. I'm not a big fan of these reset weeks in general. But he got kind of screwed over the worst way you could get screwed over, but he was still going to get targeted eventually. So it's really not that bad in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was bound to end up on the block one way or the other. So as well, take a big swing.
He should have taken a bigger swing,
Well, that was kind of thing. If he had ended up, okay, let's say he had put up Izzy here, but ultimately Matt ends up saving Izzy anyway. Would this have gone any different here?
No, I don't think it would have.
It would still have been Red and Cameron. Like they
Probably.
were public enemy number one.
Only if America had won, I think, was the only, maybe her or Corey. Those are the only two people I could see maybe doing something different.
Right. If it had been Cameron or even America, let's say if it had been America who won, what would happen? Jaemeel, on the road again. On the road again. I just love to be on the road again.
I don't know. I can't quite hear you yet, Jaemeel.
No, can't hear me?
Yeah.
I heard you there.
Yeah, we heard that.
Okay.
Okay. What thoughts?
Jared win. Hilarious.
It is hilarious.
You're going to see some crime gameplay this week, for sure. Strategizing. Because he's...
Speak louder. Speak clearly, sir.
Shouting at this. The veto was played.
The veto was played, Jaemeel. Okay.
You have a veto winner.
Jaemeel, hold on with us, everybody. Jameel's coming in from the multiverse.
Okay. Who do you think won the veto?
Okay, you might want to take your fingers off of the microphone.
Who do you think won the veto?
I think that Heisen won the veto, right?
Absolutely. How did you know?
Because the scary universe came back, and it was I don't know. My guess, Felicia.
No. So
it was Cameron.
Yes, to give as much drama as possible and totally ruin another week. Cameron has one veto.
Cameron.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
The team will be a.
Oh,
Sound.
Jaemeel, you're breaking up. We're losing the signal from Afghanistan here.
Yeah, the sound is rough.
The Chillers have broken up.
The Chillers are broken up.
Yeah.
Right. So Cameron's voting red out.
Well, they had a confrontation, and there was a lot of back and forth that didn't seem very pleasant.
It's like, no, man, I got cooler American tattoos than you. It's like, you say what? No, you don't. I got
No way. Okay, so, but who's the replacement nominee if it's not over Cameron? I'm dying here with suspense. We lost Jaemeel. Okay. Jeff, do you have a prediction on who the replacement nominee could be?
Probably America. I hope not, but
America.
I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know who Jared wants to go after. Whoever, you know what? Bowie Jane. That's what it'll be. It'll be Bowie Jane.
Actually, it most likely will be America.
Oh, okay. So my original instinct was right.
Right. And Sam's all over it here. Okay, so you're telling me, okay, well, we're in the spoiler section, by the way. So you're telling me that, okay, will America use the veto?
Cameron won the veto.
Oh, so she's just a replacement. So will the House not vote out America, or will they vote out red? But either way, Foster is screwed. He is going to lose.
So the ceremony
The
hasn't
draft.
happened yet. This is very narrative.
No ceremony yet, Jameel's reporting.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet. But Jeff, do you feel bad for Josh Foster, our friend, who was drafted both red and America?
Red America. No.
Yeah.
Because it's
If
a
he had-
blue America.
If he had drafted blue in America, would you be more favorable to his draft team?
If only there was a purple in the house, then we could have had a purple America.
I think that Foster took all of his good luck and pushed it towards the NFL draft.
Yeah.
What did he say?
He said he took all his good luck and put it toward the NFL draft, his fantasy draft.
I think Foster's still thinking about that NFL draft.
He's
Like a
pretty-
few days
yeah.
later.
Yeah.
He's still worried about it. Okay. Well, that's are you sad with how this week's playing out, or are you guys happy?
I like a messy house.
Yeah.
Messy house, so this is a good thing.
It's good, but it's not messy enough. It needs to get messier.
At the very least, there's no steamroll. As much as Therese is such power, such a dominant position, there's no steamroll.
There's no steamrolling, Jaemeel saying, and we have some power going back and forth. Okay, but like, who would you rather not make it into the jury phase of the House, Jeff? Would it be America or red?
Red. I like America. I think America's smart. Red's an idiot. I feel like.
But red's like a rodeo clown.
America is smart. He has no power.
Yeah, but
Smart
she got,
with no
but,
power.
but she's good enough to win one of these competitions, and yeah, she'll win a competition, and then she'll be smart enough to actually target a Sari or a Jared or whatever. She's the only person I have any hope for in the House that will actually do anything. So like that's right now we're acting like, oh, the House is so it's very unpredictable. I feel like it's very predictable. It's basically like anybody that wins, unless it's America or Corey, is gonna what Sari wants, Sari gets. And that's how the House is going right now.
Okay, for the last couple of weeks, though, or I should say last week and this week, it's like both sides are just filled with stormtroopers, and they're just taking shots.
Jameel's saying there's two sides with stormtroopers. They're just taking shots at each other on both sides. And Han shot first.
But only stormtroopers are getting killed. That's the problem.
What about Greedo though?
Okay, fellas, I gotta go.
All right, Jaemeel, thank you for the report. I
Feet
hope
is saying.
wherever you are, I hope everything's okay. Safe travels on the road there. Jaemeel